Modi faces extradition. Latest images now coming in from the BJP headquarters, where Amit Shah has arrived for the CEC meeting for the Gujarat polls, which is also going to be attended by C.R. Patil and others. We'll get you the latest as far as the developments taking place at the BJP headquarters ahead of the Gujarat polls. We'll try and go across to Abhishek in a short while from now. In a short while from now, Prime Minister Modi will also be That's the latest image now coming in of Om Mathur entering the BJP headquarters. They would be deciding the candidates for the Gujarat poll. Latest visuals now coming in. Let's try and connect with our reporters on the ground to get you the latest. In a short while from now, Prime Minister Modi would also be reaching. Amit Shah has already reached the BJP headquarters. The latest images now coming in from the BJP headquarters. Let me also bring in my colleague Shivagi, who is joining us from the Delhi newsroom. Shivagi, just walk us through the details that you are picking up. The CEC meeting expected to begin anytime now. Home Minister Amit Shah has already reached. We could also spot Om Mathur entering the BJP headquarters in a short while from now. Prime Minister Modi would also be reaching. The latest now we're getting in right now from our reporters on the ground that Prime Minister and Home Ministers would be present in the CEC on Gujarat, which is going to begin in a short while from now. We'll also try and connect with Aishwarya, who's getting us the latest details as we're getting in the information. These are the images of Om Mathur entering a short while back. Well, in fact, the CEC would be deciding the candidates for the Gujarat poll. In fact, remember, just ahead of the poll-bound state of Gujarat, a lot of rejig essentially now taking place for the candidates for the state of Gujarat. Remember, as far as Himachal Pradesh is concerned, tomorrow would be the last day of the campaigning also. It's going to be a crucial elections for the Bharatiya Janata Party in the Gujarat elections, keeping in mind there is a new entrant with the Aam Aadmi Party trying to challenge the position of Bharatiya Janata Party. How exactly would they make a dent, especially in places like Surat, where in the past, as far as the Surat municipal elections are concerned, in which Aam Aadmi Party had been able to make a mark. There has been a high voltage campaigning on the part of the Aam Aadmi Party in the state of Gujarat. We also have B.S. Yediyurappa, former Chief Minister of Karnataka, entering the BJP headquarters right now. He's also part of the CEC, who would be the meeting is going to take place. Starting this edition of This Is Exclusive with that big breaking news coming in. Big win for India as well as the investigative agencies. Extradition of Nirav Modi is going to now take place. UK High Court has essentially indicated that the extradition of Nirav Modi is not unjust. What we're getting you right now is the judgment copy which has been accessed by Republic TV. Remember, why exactly is this being hailed as a big success for the Indian investigative agencies? Unlike in the case of Vijay Mallya, who after being arrested was granted bail, in the case of Nirav Modi, Indian investigative agencies were essentially able to convince the UK Westminster Court that Nirav Modi essentially poses a flight risk. The fact that they were also able to gather evidence to the effect that Nirav Modi was trying to influence witnesses. And not just that, they've also been able to produce evidence that 6 villagers from the state of Gujarat were brought in as dummy directors by Nirav Modi, indicating that this was a plan that he had already chalked out before he fled from India. And the fact that under the money laundering laws, he should have been booked, and the fact that he faces the law here in India, something that the UK court seems to have also been convinced about. We'll try and break it down for you viewers. The judgment copy that has been accessed in a short while from now. My colleague Niranjan is also going to join us from the Mumbai newsroom, breaking down that entire UK order copy. So what next right now as far as the investigation goes, or for that matter the procedure that is left? There is one last legal recourse that Nirav Modi has right now in United Kingdom. If he wants to make an appeal against the extradition order that has been passed by the UK High Court, he could actually move the Supreme Court, but for which he will have to take permission from the High Court. Will that be granted or not? That is something that we'll have to wait and watch, because a 14-day time period is granted to Nirav Modi for making that appeal. As far as in the case of Vijay Mallya, remember, Vijay Mallya had also moved in for political asylum, and that is the grey area as far as the extradition process is concerned, because an application of political asylum would essentially mean that the Indian government, or for that matter Indian agencies, would not be kept in the loop. As far as Nirav Modi is concerned, Indian investigative agencies essentially indicating that that route perhaps would not be possible for Nirav Modi, given the fact that they have been able to convince the courts in United Kingdom about the criminality angle, and that is exactly what works in favor for the Indian investigative agencies. Let me bring in my colleague, our executive editor news, joining us from the Mumbai newsroom with that copy of the judgment. Niranjan, over to you. Take us through the details of that judgment order that we have now accessed. What are the big takeaways?
Shravan, going to the detailed judgment. This is in the High Court of Justice, King's Bench Divisional Court of the UK, the Royal Courts of Justice. Lord Justice Stuart Smith, Mr. Justice J, between Nirav Modi and the Government of India. Nirav Modi versus the Government of India, playing out in the UK court. Exclusive copy of the judgment as delivered. This it's the approved judgment, and it says judgment was handed down remotely at 9:30 a.m. this morning by circulation to the parties. And thereafter, I'm going to read out the details of what the judgment reads out. It says, Nirav Deepak Modi is sought by the Government of India. There are 3 sets of criminal proceedings. The first, brought by the CBI, the Central Bureau of Investigation, relates to a fraud by the Punjab National Bank, which caused losses equivalent to over £700 million. The second, brought by the Enforcement Directorate, relating to the alleged laundering of the proceeds of that fraud. The Government of India submitted requests for Modi's extradition into 2018. So 4 years later. 4 years later, it's happened, and I'm going to the effective part right now. I'm going to the effective part where you know the court gets into details and the procedural developments of the case. The district judge gave a lengthy and thorough judgment on a range of issues, most of which have fallen away in light of Nirav Modi's lawyer, and they go on to detail out everything that they have argued in court in the last few years. Shravan, let me go to the operative part. Just bear with me. And in this operative part, here it is. They say that in the light of our conclusion, we can address the judgment of the district judge shortly. He was conscious that the evidence before him was in some respects limited, and it may be said that his decision to proceed to the judgment without requiring further assurances from the government of India at that point was bold at the point of being unwise. Furthermore, his apparent treatment of the absence of any immediate suicidal intentions, ideations, as determinative was for the reasons we have explained about the significance of future prognosis incorrect, which means they really rejected, thrashed his argument that he was mentally unwell, he was suffering from mental ill health. To that extent, we would accept that there were grounds for challenging his reasoning. His conclusion, however, was sound. It may be that the main benefit of the appeal has been to obtain the extensive further assurances that we've identified in the course of this judgment. And they really, basically, we just wanted him to be sent back to India. I have the full details of the judgment here. And in this particular point, they go on to sort of completely trash his argument about it being oppressive to be sent back. The starting point is that a high threshold has to be reached in order to satisfy the court that Modi's condition is such that it would be oppressive to extradite him. So the court goes into great detail, Shawan. It's a 37-page order. We'll put it up on republicworld.com as well. But back to you for now, as you get us more details on the case itself, on what the agencies did to ensure that Nirav Modi was pinned and brought back. Shawan.
Well, in fact, Niranjan, perhaps you could also take a look at the other operative parts. Meanwhile, let me also bring in our colleague, Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor, and Tanisha is also going to join us from the Bharat Newsroom. Abhishek, if I can just come to you. Niranjan has been able to identify some of the operative parts, but what's very interesting, and perhaps everyone needs to know, that what really worked in the favor of India, because a lot of questions essentially were being raised as far as the extradition process of Vijay Mallya is concerned. The difference, the stark difference being in this particular case, that they have been able to keep Nirav Modi behind bars from the very day that he was arrested.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true, Shavan. And that's something to do with the kind of meticulous documentation that has been done by the agencies, ably supported by legislation. Remember, the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act became a law in India in 2018 after Nirav Modi and Vijay Mallya and Mehul Choksi, and in fact even Bhandari, I believe they had run away, and a suitable legislation had to be brought. Having said that, Nirav Modi still has one appeal. But besides that, the British are typically very notorious when it comes to extradition. For example, in India's experience over the last almost 3 decades, 1993 is the time we signed an extradition treaty with them. And of the 30-odd requests that have been made to the British for extradition, 1 or 2 have been addressed, or perhaps 3 max. And that really gives you an idea of the scale of difficulty that still remains. For example, in the case of Vijay Mallya, apart from the extradition proceedings, he has also started a political asylum proceeding in the UK, and that's going to take its own time, even if the British system really wants these fugitives to be extradited. Also, Shavan, remember that I'm giving you the political aspect for understanding. Even if some elements within the British system, for example, the earlier Home Secretary Preeti Patel, she wanted these proceedings to be fast-tracked, but then there was resistance from within the system. And in fact, one aspect on which the foreign trade agreement, or free trade agreement, I beg your pardon, between India and the UK is stuck is the mobility argument, which includes extradition elements. So in that sense, I think still some distance to cover before Nirav Modi or the likes of Vijay Mallya can be brought back and submitted to due process of law. But this still is success for our agencies and the meticulous paperwork that has been done, which has satisfied both the Magistrates Court and now the High Court of the United Kingdom. Of course, there is one more appeal to the Supreme Court, which would go, and the process that would be followed. Shavan.
Well, in fact, Abhishek, we'll try and get back Niranjan right now, because we've just been able to skim through that judgment copy because it's just come a short while back. So we'll try and put that into perspective for all our viewers. Why exactly, as you rightly pointed out, even for the United Kingdom, it's going to be, it's going to be an important case, because as far as Sanjay Bhandari is concerned, largely what has happened, Abhishek, is that the extradition comes in the Black Money Act. And if you look at it worldwide, there hasn't been a precedence when it comes to extradition in the Black Money Act. So that is one aspect I would say that has really worked. And now comes yet another in the money laundering aspect. Money laundering aspect also, where we are looking at Nirav Modi's case, where it's been a big success right now. We'll also try and bring in Tanisha in a short, Tanisha and Niranjan once again. But Abhishek, if I can just come back to you. What I can also take a look at right now from this particular judgment copy is the interesting part is how this was completely pre-planned by Nirav Modi. The fact that he realized that one of the co-conspirators, Gokul Shetty, who happens to be the manager at the Punjab National Bank, was actually helping him striking that LOU, and he knew that he is going to retire, and that is the reason why he had decided that he is going to leave the country. What he did was brought in about 6 villagers from Gujarat as dummy directors, and then he escaped from India. That too, there is enough evidence to prove.
Oh well, obviously, Shravan, if the concerned person really wants to commit suicide, apart from the fact that this is a psychological estate brought upon himself by his own acts, and nobody else can be held responsible for that person. So far as due process of law is concerned, this is not a sufficient aid that you are not in a right mental state of mind to be submitted to due process of law. In that sense, all criminals would be allowed to go scot-free. So I think it's a poor defense that has been used by the lawyers of Nirav Modi, and that's why I was harping upon the fact that like in the case of Malia, parallel political asylum proceedings started. There is this impediment that the UK, when it comes to extradition, all the UK system has this clause that the country where the crime has been committed, that crime also is to be considered a crime in the United Kingdom, A, and B, that they have to make sure, the British bureaucracy or the British judicial system has to make sure that the human rights of the person who has to be extradited, they are protected as per the European Convention on Human Rights. So in that sense, perhaps the Europeans think these are lofty standards, but then it acts an additional layer of bureaucracy when it comes to decision making. And that's why it might still be some time. All these aspects that are coming out of the judgment, I think one saving grace which was brought out by Ridham Anand Bharadwaj, and which was that the court mentions that there are friendly relations with India, and it's a power with which we are friendly, and the UK must honour its extradition treaty obligations by not picking holes in the government's assurances that Nirav Modi will be provided with adequate medical care at Arthur Road Jail. Remember also, Shravan, like in the case of Vijay Mallya, so in the case of Nirav Modi, visuals, pictures of the Anda cell in the Arthur Road Jail where these kind of high security prisoners are kept have been submitted to the courts, both at the Magistrates Court and the High Court. I think that assurance bit that is coming out of the verdict is something which should make us believe that if not very immediately, then in near future, Nirav Modi and possibly Vijay Mallya both would be brought back to India, extradited from the United Kingdom and submitted to due process of law.
Well, you've very aptly pointed out that this is an additional level of bureaucracy in the United Kingdom. The fact that he gets that 14-day period to perhaps take it forward, file another appeal. Let me also bring in my colleague Tanisha, who's joining us from the Bharat newsroom right now. Tanisha, you've been able to quickly glance through that judgment copy. Is there any more in terms of what has really worked for India at this point in time? Because what we were seeing in the case of Sanjay Bhandari, a lot of people essentially commented that this lays down the precedents, because in the past, no such extradition over the Black Money Act was done. Now, in this particular case, are there any observations that have been made by the court which certainly works in the favor of the Indian investigative agencies, or even for that matter, worldwide?
Right, Shravan. This is the exclusive 36-page judgment copy that Republic has first accessed. And remember, in these 36 pages, most of the pointers that are mentioned only points towards how Nirav Modi had earlier appealed for an asylum, him to be shifted in an asylum. But all of those claims by Nirav Modi has today been rebutted by the UK High Court order, where they've clearly stated that Nirav Modi's condition is not so ill that he has to be shifted in an asylum or not to be not to be sent back to India. Now, these apart from these main pointers, what we've also got to know is that in the first page of the order copy, it mentions about how there are 3 criminal proceedings against Nirav Modi because of which he is being sent back to India. And all of these processes, remember, it was back in 2019 when he was first arrested. It had been a long journey, long war that Indian agencies have been fighting to get back this fugitive called Nirav Modi. The 3 proceedings of crimes are obviously number 1 being the PNB bank scam case, which he is the number 1 culprit, and other 2 proceedings where he has been named as a prime culprit in the money laundering case. Now, these 3 criminal proceedings are the serious offences that Nirav Modi has committed, and because of these, he has been his process, the extradition process, has been speed up. And now we are seeing that one of the most scathing observations that has come out in the order copy, as Abhishek and Niranjan were pointing through, the myth that
Sorry to interrupt you, Tanisha, because I'm told that Ankit is also joining us from the Mumbai newsroom. Perhaps Ankit is now going to take us through the operative part of that judgment. Over to you, Ankit.
So, Shravan, I'm going to read through 2 paras of this judgment on the potential for suicide risk of Nirav Modi. In 137, the order represents a contention that has been made by Nirav Modi's side that he could be at risk of suicide no matter what preparations the Indian government makes for the jail in India. On the other hand, it goes on to say, at the other end of the spectrum, we at one point understood to give his opinion that Mr. Modi would commit suicide, whatever steps taken. If that were his opinion, we are unable to accept it for a number of reasons. First, as we have indicated and as the papers which we have referred illustrate, the risk of a person committing suicide increases with the severity of the underlying condition, and Nirav Modi neither is or is very likely to be at the most severe end of the scale of depressive illness. Second, he has so far displayed no features of psychotic illness. Third, although he has exhibited persistent suicidal ideation, he has neither attempted suicide or deliberate self-harm nor disclosed plans to do so except in the most vague and general way. And then it says, fourth, the steps taken to render Barrack 12, this is an Arthur Road jail in India, safe and to ensure that there is effectively constant monitoring operate to reduce both the risk of attempted suicide and the prospect of suicide being committed. So it is acknowledged that he doesn't seem to be at the risk of committing suicide the way that his doctor has claimed he is. And then a very important final mention in 142, it says, we are far from satisfied that Nirav Modi's mental condition and the risk of suicide are such that it would be either unjust or oppressive to extradite him. So it virtually renders the self-harm suicide argument put forth by Nirav Modi as invalid. It plays it down. It says that it doesn't believe that to necessarily be the case, and it acknowledges the preparations made by India at the Barrack 12 in Arthur Road jail to take care of any such situation arising or to attempt to forestall it.
Getting in some more breaking news right now. Border Congress leader has now finally written to the Karnataka Chief Minister. This is on the Hindu abuse. Remember, all this while, he's been extremely defiant, said that he's going to resign only if he is proven wrong. Remember, he had stoked a controversy about essentially saying that the word Hindu in itself, one should decipher and find out what does this really mean, derived from Persia, indicating that the word Hindu is dirty. That is exactly what Border Congress leader had to say. Now he's written a letter to the Karnataka Chief Minister. We'll try and get you more details. We'll go across to our colleague Prajwal. In fact, now we're being told that the leader has finally retracted from his statement. He's written a letter on that to the Karnataka Chief Minister. We'll try and go across to our reporters on the ground to get you the latest. But this comes at a time when essentially he was defiant that he's not going to apologize. In fact, Karnataka Congress Working President has now apologized for his statement. He's written a letter to Chief Minister Bommai and he has withdrawn his statement that he made about Hindus, where he said that the word Hindu is derived from Persia and essentially means dirty. Now that's the latest now coming in on the U-turn that has been taken by Vadra Congress leader. There was immense pressure that was put on. In fact, the Chief Minister had also taken on the Congress party. In fact, let me go across to my colleague Prajwal, who's getting us the latest details. Prajwal, you've accessed that letter that has been written by the Vadra Congress leader. What is it that he had to say to the Karnataka Chief Minister?
In fact, Satish Jarkiholi has finally apologized to the Chief Minister, the government of Karnataka, as well as the people of Karnataka. In this particular letter, he has stated that he addressed a gathering on the 6th of November in Nippani and his intention was not to hurt the feelings or sentiments of the Hindus. He's also gone on to state that, yes, I did speak about, the word Hindu coming from the Persian language and I questioned about the origins, but it was misinterpreted on several platforms and therefore there was a huge controversy in this. He's also stated that he had read about the word Hindu deriving its origin from the Persian language on Wikipedia, on Google, and in many dictionaries and books as well. And he had also read he had also gone on to read the books written by historians too. And only keeping this as the basis, he had gone on to make this statement and not with an intention to hurt the feelings of the community or else to create any sort of communal disharmony. And he's also requested the Chief Minister Basuraj Bommai to form a committee in this particular regard and also investigate into this matter. And if he is found wrong in this particular matter, the government can go on and take action against him. In the end, the last paragraph is very important over here, Shravan. He's stated that if by his statement, if he has gone on to hurt the sentiments of any people from any religion, he's going to withdraw his statement. He's withdrawing his statement. He's seeking an open apology to the people of Karnataka and to whoever religious sentiments he's gone on to hurt here. This is exactly what the letter goes on and states. But he's also mentioned that a committee should be formed in this regard.
Prajwal, I just request you, sorry to interrupt you. We do have Karnataka BJP spokesperson S. Prakash, who's joining us on the phone line. Mr. Prakash, finally, Vadra Congress leader has been forced to retract. He's written a letter to the Karnataka Chief Minister.
No, he insulted the Hindus first. Now, after the pressure built up by the BJP and also his own party leaders, now he has retracted it. The damage has already been done. Needlessly stoking controversy and attacking Hindus at will it has become a habitual act for Congress party leaders. And Mr. Jarkiholi is the latest person who is engaged in it. And at least now he has apologized. I hope this issue will be over.
But Mr. Prakash, the fact of the matter is that what we have witnessed is that before every election, a pattern essentially emerges coming in from the Congress party. The Vadra Congress has now been exposed once again.
No, it is, as I said, they are regularly insulting the Hindus. Election or no election, right from the day they coined saffron terrorism by Chidambaram when he was a home minister. Right from that day, on many occasions, Hindus have been humiliated, insulted by the Congress party leaders. And moreover, in Karnataka, Siddaramaiah was on the forefront in the previous when he was Chief Minister to defame the Hindus. Now, Mr. Satish Jarkiholi, who is a strong follower of Siddaramaiah, is also on the same path. Today, he has withdrawn the statement only by force. Otherwise, he would have withstood the statement he has made and he would have stoked much more controversy. This is a pattern to divide the Hindu society.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Prakash, for putting this into perspective. A matter which perhaps is going to cost the Congress party in the poll-bound state of Karnataka. In less than 30 minutes, India's biggest opinion poll on Republic TV, the channel which got it 100% spot on last time.
The stone pelting that had been done at the Vande Bharat Express, exactly at the window where Assaduddin Owaisi had also been featured.
Yesterday, he went into one of the theatres and he took law in his hand. He and his party workers beat up the viewers who were there sitting and watching the movie.
For joint exercise, that's the Garud 7 being conducted in Jodhpur.
एनसीपी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने मारपीट की. जितेंद्र अवार्ड went there inside the theatre and also beat up. Why are you not responding? Didn't you breach the privacy of those viewers who were watching the movie? Why don't you respond?
Two states.
गुजरात के लोगों ने इतना भारी बहुमत देके इनको राज दिया कि आपके घर में मौत होने पे आपसे मिलने भी नहीं आते.
भारत के साथ जम्मू कश्मीर को जोड़ने का काम देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी.
There's only one channel for the result. Live. December 8 with Arnav.
Fire broke out at the Indian Oil Depot at Patna's Sipara in Bihar in the late hours of Monday.
Bus accident over there reported in Kupwara and Jammu and Kashmir. We're learning so far at least 20 people were injured.
Kerala Union of Working Journalists is taking out a protest outside the Raj Bhavan against Governor Arif Mohammad Khan's comment of gagging two media groups in Kerala.
ने हाथापाई क्यों की थी बताइए ना. उस व्यक्ति का क्या दोष था जो फिल्म देखने आया था. आपका फोटो दिख रहा है वीडियो में. आपका फोटो दिख रहा है वीडियो में. उस व्यक्ति का क्या दोष था जिसने हाथा.
250 seats.
कांग्रेस और कमीशन, कांग्रेस और भ्रष्टाचार. हम मिशन से काम करते हैं, वो कमीशन के लिए काम करते हैं.
पैसों से चुनाव नहीं जितवाएंगे आप कि आप अपने भविष्य के आधार पर अपना वोट देंगे.
There's only one channel for the result. Live. December 8 with Arnav.
चलाएगा कोई? Big victory for India days after Sanjay Bhandari's extradition nod from UK court. Now Nirav Modi to be extradited. After Hindu is a dirty word abuse, another Congress leader may have seen in Hindu abuse event in Chhattisgarh. Controversy over film Kerala story. Congress demands ban on film Kerala. DGP directs police to register FIR. Congress politicizes India's G20 presidency logo, raises questions on lotus being the symbol. 3 days to go in Himachal polling. Prime Minister leads the last leg of campaigning in Himachal Pradesh. Largest election coverage on Republic. Stay tuned for special opinion poll broadcast at 7 p.m.
चार मेडिकल कॉलेज दिए और ट्रिपल आईटी से लेकर आईआईटी आईआईएम दिया, लेकिन कांग्रेस की सरकारों ने 5-5 साल जमीन के लिए रोड़े अटकाए, विकास नहीं होने दिया, प्रोजेक्ट शुरू नहीं होने दिए। कांग्रेस विरोध करती थी, हम विकास करना चाहते हैं। कांग्रेस ने रुकावटें पैदा की, हमने काम पूरा करके हिमाचल प्रदेश को एम्स भी, सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी से लेकर आईआईटी आईआईएम देने का काम भी किया है। ये हमारे प्रयास थे। और आज भी अगर नरेंद्र मोदी जी का भाषण आपने सुना होगा तो उन्होंने स्वयं कहा है, 1 रैंक 1 पेंशन से लेकर स्मार्ट सिटी शिमला और धर्मशाला को देने का काम ये नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सोच थी। सुरेश भारद्वाज जी ने इसके ऊपर शानदार काम वहां पर किया और हमारी डबल इंजन की सरकार ने भी कहीं पर कोई कमी पिछले 5 वर्षों में जयराम जी की सरकार ने नहीं छोड़ी है। मैं आपसे निवेदन करने आया हूं, इस विकास की रफ्तार पर रोक नहीं लगने देनी है, नहीं तो मोदी जी दिल्ली से भेजेंगे, जैसे पहले कांग्रेस रुकवाती थी वो फिर आकर रुकावटें पैदा करने का प्रयास करेंगे। आज भी उनके पास कोई मुद्दा नहीं है। कांग्रेस ने 2003 में कहा था कि वो बेरोजगारों को रोजगार देंगे, हर घर से एक सरकारी नौकरी देंगे। क्या शिमला और कुसुम्पटी में मिल गए? नहीं। अरे जोर से बोलो, मिले? अगर 2003 में कांग्रेस ने आपको रोजगार नहीं दिया तो आपने सत्ता से बाहर किया। वो 2012 में फिर फॉर्म भरवा कर गए कि बेरोजगारी भत्ता देंगे। क्या आपको बेरोजगारी भत्ता मिला? नहीं। 12 में भी नहीं मिला तो 17 में आपने उनको बाहर का रास्ता कर दिया। अब वो फिर नया फॉर्म लेके चले हैं। ये कांग्रेसियों पर विश्वास मत करना, ये चुनावों के समय झूठे वायदे करते हैं, वोट बटोरते हैं और सत्ता में आने के बाद नोट बटोरने का काम कांग्रेस ही करते हैं। मेरे भाई और बहनों, ये भ्रष्टाचारी चाहे केंद्र में थे या प्रदेश में थे, इनके समय केवल भ्रष्टाचार भ्रष्टाचार और भ्रष्टाचार ही हुआ। 5 साल जयराम जी की सरकार रही, 5 साल में किसी मंत्री या मुख्यमंत्री के ऊपर कोई भ्रष्टाचार के आरोप नहीं लगे। ईमानदारी के साथ सरकार चलाई है तो केंद्र में मोदी ने और प्रदेश में जयराम जी ने चलाई है। मेरे भाई और बहनों, भाई और बहनों, आज भी अगर आप हमारा घोषणा पत्र देखेंगे, संकल्प पत्र देखेंगे, बहनों के लिए अलग से संकल्प पत्र आया है। गर्भवती महिला को जो 6,000 रुपया मिलता है अब 25,000 रुपया मिलेगा, 4 गुना से ज्यादा उसको बढ़ा दिया है। 6वीं से 12वीं कक्षा तक जाने वाली बेटियों को अब साइकिल मिलेगी तो कॉलेज जाने वालियों को स्कूटी देने का काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार करेगी। यही नहीं, शिमला में रोपवे बनाने की बात हो तो इसके लिए भी हजारों करोड़ रुपए की मंजूरी करा दी, प्रोजेक्ट मंजूर हो गए।
Let's look at a short break. On the other side, the big story coming in from Kerala.
In the latest Indian university rankings announced by QS, the world's leading university rankings organization, India's #1 ranked universities in various categories are IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, University of Delhi, University of Calcutta, and Amity University.
ने हाथापाई क्यों की थी बताइए ना। उस व्यक्ति का क्या दोष था जो फिल्म देखने आया था? आपका फोटो दिख रहा है वीडियो में, आपका फोटो दिख रहा है वीडियो में, उस व्यक्ति का क्या दोष था जिसने हाथापाई? This is the NCP worker who was there with Jitendra Wad is not in fact responding to the question.
50 seats.
कांग्रेस और कमीशन, कांग्रेस और भ्रष्टाचार, हम मिशन से काम करते हैं, वो कमीशन के लिए काम करते हैं।
पैसों से चुनाव नहीं जितवाएंगे आप, कि आप अपने भविष्य के आधार पर अपना वोट देंगे।
There's only one channel for the result day live. December 8 with Arnab.
The stone pelting that had been done at the Vande Bharat Express, exactly at the window where Sabin obviously had also been seated.
Yesterday, he went into one of the theatres and he took law in his hand. He and his party workers beat up the viewers who were there sitting and watching the movie.
For joint exercise, that's the Garud 7 being conducted in Jodhpur.
एनसीपी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने मारपीट की. जितेंद्र अवार्ड went there inside the theatre and also beat up. Why are you not responding? Didn't you breach the privacy of those viewers who were watching the movie? Why don't you respond?
2 states.
गुजरात के लोगों ने इतना भारी बहुमत देके इनको राज दिया कि आपके घर में मौत होने पे आपसे मिलने भी नहीं आते.
भारत के साथ जम्मू कश्मीर को जोड़ने का काम देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी.
There's only one channel for the result day live. December 8 with Arnab.
Fire broke out at the Indian Oil Depot at Patna.
Well, in fact, we're getting an exclusive report coming in from the state of Maharashtra, where there's been violence that has taken place in the village Dawn. The incident dates back to 20th of October. Reports suggest that the clashes that broke out between two communities were so intense that 7 people were stabbed and even women and children were not spared. Take a look at this report, and then we also go across to our reporters on the ground, getting you the latest details. In fact, we're now being told that there's been massive pressure that has been built on the Maharashtra police. In fact, there has been a considerable delay in filing the FR. It is expected that in a short while from now, Maharashtra police is expected to file an FIR on this matter. Let's play out that report and then go across to our reporters on the ground.
Violent clashes broke out in the village of Dawn in Maharashtra. The clashes took place on 28th of October. It is said that the dispute was so violent that 7 people were stabbed brutally and even women and children were not spared. Reports suggest that the matter was highly sensitive and people of one community were the ones who were seriously injured.
There was a clash between both the communities, between the molesters and the girls community, following which several injuries were reported, and in fact 7 people were stabbed in this clashes. And in fact as the issue seems to be more sensitive, now the Home Department is keeping a close watch on this issue.
Maharashtra police sources told Republic that when asked about the reasons of violence from both communities, the reasons differed from each other. Not just this, it's been more than 19 days since the spine-chilling violence took place and no FIR has been registered nor any arrest have been made in the case. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, in fact, let me also bring in my colleague Sandeep, who's getting us the latest details. Sandeep, you've spoken to some of your sources within the Maharashtra police. What exactly is the reason for the delay in filing the FIR? You are now reporting that there is a high possibility that in a short while from now that Maharashtra police would be filing the FIR. What's the latest that you're picking up?
See, Shravan, as far as FIR is concerned, yes, Maharashtra police, and in fact, I just spoke to one of the senior official in Daund. He also mentioned that the procedure of registering the FIR is underway. In fact, when we questioned the state police in regards of the delay in this case, they said that the complainant was in fact not coming ahead and in fact reporting this matter. On the other hand, in fact, I have a letter of a complaint which was given by the complainant. In fact, one of the girl who in fact was injured. I have the letter, complaint letter in my hand. She mentions that she was on the way for her some personal work, and in fact while going there were few people from one community who molested her. In fact, I have the name of the people who have been accused of this issue is that Arbaz Sayyid, Badshah Sheikh, Waid Khan, Jumma Sheikh. So these are the name of the people who in fact attacked this girl, first molested, and later when she opposed this molestation, these people attacked this girl. And in fact not only that girl, also the family members were brutally attacked by swords from this community, and in fact following which the girl was also pressurized by the locals there and this community as well. Now the problem out here is, Shavan, that it's been more than 90 days. Remember, 20th October this incident took place, and till now no FIR was registered. In fact, when we also spoke to the state police, they mentioned that we have recorded the statement and we also urged people to file a complaint, but they were not ready to file a complaint. Although we have also got a bite from the victim, and in fact she mentions that how she was brutally attacked in this case. Although after the action, and in fact the state home department is keeping a close watch as we have highlighted this issue. Now the process of filing registering the FIR is underway, and in fact the police is in search of these people now.
Well, in fact, just a quick question before I just take a short break. Well, Sandeep, just a quick question with regards to why this particular delay. You are saying that there was no complaint that actually came in. Is that the only reason why the FIR was not registered?
See, if state police sources are to be believed, they mentioned that they urged the complainants and in fact they also urged people from both the community to lodge a complaint, but none of them were ready to file an FIR, in fact to register their complaint. But on the other hand, when we tried connecting to the complainant side, they have mentioned that there was a huge pressure on them, and in fact the local police was in fact not cooperating with them, and hence there was a delay in registering the FIR. Now the case has come onto the light, and in fact people are speaking about this, Shavan. So now the state police have come into action, and now the process of registering the FIR is underway. Shavan.
Well, thank you very much, Sandeep, for getting us the latest details. A story that no other channel is reporting. We get you the full details of that communal clash that took place on 20th of October. So far, no FIR has been registered. Controversy over film Kerala story. Congress demands ban on film Kerala. DGP directs police to register the FIR. Also, Congress politicizes India's G20 presidency logo. Raises questions on lotus being the symbol.
Two states
गुजरात के लोगों ने इतना भारी बहुमत देके इनको राज दिया कि आपके घर में मौत होने पे आपसे मिलने भी नहीं आते।
भारत के साथ जम्मू कश्मीर को जोड़ने का काम देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी।
There's only one channel for the Resulti Live. December 8 with Arnav.
Fire broke out at the Indian Oil Depot at Patna's Sipara in Bihar in the late hours of Monday.
Bus accident over there reported in Kupwara and Jammu and Kashmir. We're learning so far at least 20 people were injured.
Kerala Union of Working Journalists is taking out a protest outside the Raj Bhavan against Governor Arif Mohammad Khan's comment of gagging two media groups in Kerala.
ने हाथापाई क्यों की थी बताइए ना। उस व्यक्ति का क्या दोष था जो फिल्म देखने आया था? आपका फोटो दिख रहा है वीडियो में, आपका फोटो दिख रहा है वीडियो में, उस व्यक्ति का क्या दोष था जिसने हाथापाई? This is the NCP worker who was there with Jitendra Wad is not in fact responding to the questions.
250 seats.
कांग्रेस और कमीशन, कांग्रेस और भ्रष्टाचार, हम मिशन से काम करते हैं, वो कमीशन के लिए काम करते हैं।
पैसों से चुनाव नहीं जितवाएंगे आप, कि आप अपने भविष्य के आधार पर अपना वोट देंगे।
There's only one channel for the Resulti Live. December 8 with Arnav.
The stone pelting that had been done at the Vande Bharat Express, exactly at the window where Assaduddin Owaisi had also been seated.
Jitendra Wad, yesterday he went into one of the theatres and he took law in his hand.
Diamond merchant Nirav Modi lost his appeal against extradition on mental health grounds as the High Court here ruled that his risk of suicide is not such that it would be either unjust or oppressive to extradite him to India to face charges of fraud and money laundering. ED raided premises linked to Telangana minister and TRS leader as part of a money laundering probe related to alleged granite scam. They said locations linked to the minister and some others in Karimnagar district, adjoining towns and state capital Hyderabad were being searched. Facebook parent company Meta is laying off 11,000 people, about 13% of its workforce, as it contends with faltering revenue and broader tech industry woes. CEO Mark Zuckerberg said in a letter to the employees. Another incident of Hindu insult by Congress came to light in Chhattisgarh. A mayor from the party, Hema Deshmukh, was present at a mass conversion event where anti-Hindu slogans were being chanted. In Bengaluru, the BJP protested seeking sacking of Vadra Congress leader Satish Jarkoli, who said that the word Hindu was a dirty word. After Kerala government said the LDF government through an ordinance intends to replace the governor with expert academicians as Chancellor of Universities in the state, Arif Mohammed hit back, saying the state was bending the laid down rules to intimidate him. Telangana High Court ordered the release of MLA Raja Singh with conditions. Raja Singh was booked under the Preventive Detention Act and was later sent to jail.
In the latest Indian university rankings announced by QS, the world's leading university rankings organization, India's #1 ranked universities in various categories are IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, University of Delhi, University of Calcutta, and Amity University.
The stone pelting that had been done at the Vande Bharat Express, exactly at the window where Assaduddin Owaisi had also been seated.
Jitendra Rawat. Yesterday, he went into one of the theatres and he took law in his hand. He and his party workers beat up the viewers who were there sitting and watching the movie.
For joint exercise, that's the Garud 7 being conducted in Jodhpur.
एनसीपी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने मारपीट की. जितेंद्र अवार्ड went there inside the theatre and also beat up. Why are you not responding? Didn't you breach the privacy of those viewers who were watching the movie? Why don't you respond?
Two states.
गुजरात के लोगों ने इतना भारी बहुमत देके इनको राज दिया कि आपके घर में मौत होने पे आपसे मिलने भी नहीं आते.
भारत के साथ जम्मू कश्मीर को जोड़ने का काम देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी.
There's only one channel for the result live. 250 seats.
कांग्रेस और कमीशन, कांग्रेस और भ्रष्टाचार. हम मिशन से काम करते हैं, वो कमीशन के लिए काम करते हैं.
पैसों से चुनाव नहीं जितवाएंगे आप, कि आप अपने भविष्य के आधार पर अपना वोट देंगे.
There's only one channel for the result live. December 8 with Arnav. Two states.
भारत के साथ जम्मू कश्मीर को जोड़ने का काम देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी.
गुजरात के लोगों ने इतना भारी बहुमत देके इनको राज दिया कि आपके घर में मौत होने पे आपसे मिलने भी नहीं आते.
There's only one channel for the result live. December 8 with Arnav. As two states go to polls, who has the edge? Watch India's biggest opinion poll, the Republic PMark opinion poll, 7 p.m. onwards on India's election news headquarters. December 8 with Arnav. seats.
कांग्रेस और कमीशन, कांग्रेस और भ्रष्टाचार. हम मिशन से काम करते हैं, वो कमीशन के लिए काम करते हैं.
पैसों से चुनाव नहीं जितवाएंगे आप, कि आप अपने भविष्य के आधार पर अपना वोट देंगे.
There's only one channel for the result live. December 8 with Arnav.
भारत के साथ जम्मू कश्मीर को जोड़ने का काम देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी.
गुजरात के लोगों ने इतना भारी बहुमत देके इनको राज दिया कि आपके घर में मौत होने पे आपसे मिलने भी नहीं आते.
There's only one channel for the result live. December 8 with Arnav. As two states go to polls, who has the edge? Watch India's biggest opinion poll, the Republic PMark opinion poll, 7 p.m. onwards on India's election news headquarters. December 8 with Arnav.
Thank you for joining us here on Republic TV, and everyone's just waiting for those numbers. Arnav will be joining us in the course of this broadcast. It's the Republic PMark opinion poll. And every year, a lot of channels put out polls. Some of them try to tell you that that's the most accurate number. But today on Republic TV, we have a poll that's proven to get the numbers right election after election. In the course of the next 2 hours, we will go through the numbers of the Republic PMark survey from both Himachal Pradesh and Gujarat. And joining us on the broadcast, will be my colleague's Abhishek Kapoor, Senior Executive Editor. He's reported in Gujarat. He's a very senior journalist based in Delhi, but has spent most of his time in Gujarat. And Dipti Sachdeva, with equal amount of experience over 2 decades as a journalist first, and is here in our studios as we go through these numbers. First up, Abhishek, let me get your expectations. You've covered this election campaign. Many would call it rather silent. Abhishek, would you call it silent in Gujarat? Hasn't seen as much controversy this time, has it?
No controversy, but not silent either, Niranjan. As it happens, BJP typically takes every election very seriously. So even before the election commission got into the picture and model code of conduct kicked in, we had Prime Minister visiting the state almost twice or sometimes thrice a month. And remember, like in the case of Gujarat, also in the case of Himachal, both states can claim to be home states of the Prime Minister in some ways, and he's in fact reflecting that in his stump speeches. Because A, of course, Gujarat is his home state, and B, Himachal, he was in charge of the state for good part of the 1990s. And that really makes both the states sort of very personal battles for the Prime Minister. In that sense, I think it would be interesting to watch out how that factor is really playing up in the numbers that PMark brings in, Niranjan.
Well, I have to say the numbers are interesting. Dipti, quickly, what can our viewers expect in the course of the next 2 hours? You've been looking at these numbers. Dipti.
Yes, lot of action. I think, a lot of people, Niranjan and Abhishek, have been speaking particularly about the BJP, but don't forget the opposition, because this is a test of the Congress now. If the Congress fails these 2 elections, it does not better its performance, what chance does it have for 2024, Abhishek? Like the Prime Minister said, it's a done deal. And the Aam Aadmi Party, the X factor, the new entrant in Gujarat, can it anyways do anything, or is it just a bubble? Like we saw the Adampur by-polls, like they say, bahut hawa ban gayi hai, asliyat mein kya hoga? So I think that will be interesting to see, Niranjan. And as Arnab always says, Republic is the election news headquarters. So starting today till the 8th and building up to the big battle of 2024, Niranjan, we promise our viewers, we will keep them on top of everything that they need to know.
Absolutely. The next 30 days is going to be one big roller coaster ride. Animesh, the numbers are on your head, Animesh. It's your numbers. Why should viewers believe that your numbers are the most accurate to the ground reality? Okay, I think we just lost his video there. But just to tell you a little bit about the methodology, let me tell you a little bit about the methodology of the PMark survey and what they have done on the ground, and basis which the numbers are being put out. Now, the survey was conducted in all districts across the 2 states, and the methodology is random stratified sampling using predominantly 3 techniques: field surveys, CATI, IDIs with key people in districts and assembly constituencies, and they then use a probabilistic model to determine the number of seats a party is going to win from the estimated vote share. Now, the survey results have been adjusted in proportion to reflect the state district population across age groups, religion, gender, caste. And the questions in the survey were designed to reflect the current scenario electorally and politically, and to gauge the critical factors that may play a role in this election. A margin of error, about 3%. I don't know whether we have Animesh back with us live, but should we go straight to the numbers? Okay, Animesh, can you hear us now?
Yes, hi Niranjan, hi, how are you? And thank you.
Just before you slipped out.
Thank you for inviting me to the show.
No, I was saying that you slipped out right in time when we said that you have to take onus of these numbers. We were just saying the numbers are on your head and you switched off your